How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just kidding. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You know, new year, new Star Wars, rewatch. Let's rank them. I'm going to rank them, kind of give my scores and my overall thoughts. It is kind of sad because every time I watch most of the Star Wars movies, I think every one of these got worse except one or two of them. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Easily in last place, I got The Rise of Skywalker. This movie's fun. It has some characters I really like and I think are really interesting, but it is awful. It is a 1.5 star for me on Letterboxd, aka a 3 out of 10. The whole time I was rewatching, I kept putting down notes, and I have a lot of bad notes. They introduced light speed skipping, and he can just do it, and then he's, skipping through these random planets, something we've never seen before. Leia has the ability to train a Jedi all of a sudden. That's never really the same. And then you don't even got to get into it. Somehow Palpatine returned is an actual line. They fly now. That's, all-time classic. She backflips over Kylo Ren's speeder, does a 180, chops his shit off, proceeds to lose a force off, kill Chewie, but then we don't even actually kill Chewie. It's just a fake out death that literally doesn't even last 2 minutes. And then in the end, you have you have Kylo Ren coming in as Ben Solo a little bit, using his gun and the blaster. I think them doing the lightsaber switch out was kind of cool, but come on, man. I am all the Sith and I am all the Jedi. So stupid. So stupid. So stupid. Her being a Palpatine is even dumber. Like, it's not even earned at all. They just randomly switch her to a Palpatine. I think her being a nobody is way cooler. She buries Luke's and Anakin Skywalker for no reason, proceeds to say she is Rey Skywalker, which people shit on. I think that's kind of cute. I think Leia and Luke, really did take her in, and she had no parents, clearly, and she doesn't want to be a Palpatine. She wants to be accepted as a Skywalker. I think that's fine. But the number one worst part about this is them kissing was so stupid. So stupid, so unearned. And shout out Annie. She disagrees. She's like, everybody was wanting that. All right, in 11th place, I have Attack of the Clones. I used to have this one a lot higher. This movie's kind of buns. I got it at a 4 out of 10. There's no sauce in this. Nothing really that good. The end fight's kind of fun, but a lot of it's dumb. You have Kenobi playing with the dragon and Anakin running around, and there's all these millions of powerful Jedi. There's so much of them, and they're losing to clones. And then, they have them surrounded, but then they make the last second escape, but then they don't, and they fight Count Dooku, which has some good moments, but then, of course, Yoda has to come in and, kind of... I don't know if I like Yoda using the fucking lightning. It's kind of cool. I guess it makes sense, but that is a Sith power, so that's kind of dumb. But, man... Padme was dripped out this entire movie. Dripped out. Anakin and her love story, it's kind of hard to buy into because they made him so much younger in the first movie. And then in this movie, you're supposed to kind of buy them falling in love. And he is just so whiny. All he does the whole movie is whine. And then he murders a whole clan of people too. Committed genocide on a whole group of people, and that wasn't even a question. Sorry. Rise of Skywalker was 11th place. Attack of the Clones 10th place. In 9th place, we have The Last Jedi. All right, there's some sauce to this movie for sure. This movie is probably the best looking Star Wars movie. There's some things I really like. Rey and Kylo's connection, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. That shit's tough. It is so fun to see them two connecting with each other, them talking back and forth, slowly but surely learning each other. I love Rey. I love Poe. I love Kylo. I love all the characters. The movie looks so good, but they make Luke such a little B-word. He just sucks the whole movie. He made a map in The Force Awakens to come and find them, and then proceeds to act like he didn't want to get found. He made a map. He gave them a map to come and find him. How else would this map be created, that there's a map to create Luke Skywalker, to find Luke Skywalker, and then all of a sudden he never wants to be found? And, they do some jokes with Luke I don't like. Him just grabbing the lightsaber and chunking it is so stupid. I think him showing up at the end is really, really cool. But if you were gonna do him as a Force ghost, he shouldn't have been like walking through the place and interacting with people before it, and he should have just showed up and stared down the First Order. You can kind of even see there's no red footprints in the snow. There's a lot of stuff that is really good. Kylo Ren's rage at the end, and them getting away. I think all that is good, but him just being able to be a Force ghost across the entire universe and then just kill himself is kind of disappointing, and especially like a lackluster ending for such a great character. All right, guys. In 8th place, I got The Phantom Menace, definitely a little bit lower on rewatch, a 6 out of 10. This is the most boring Star Wars movie for sure. I think this is a generous 6 out of 10. This movie is pretty bad. Jake Lloyd was unironically one of my favorite parts of it. You know, I think him being a pilot at the end and somehow but surely like taking out people and avoiding stuff, I think that was stupid and that's just bad writing. And I think he got shit on that because you have him doing one-liners and stuff in a jet, and I think that's probably where Jake doesn't deliver. But I think all the time when he's cold on the ship and Padme takes care of him, there's so much stuff on this that is really good with him. The Duel of Fates is really good. I think that kind of saved it for me and put it above The Last Jedi. I think I like The Last Jedi as a movie more, but Duel of Fates is so peak versus The Last Jedi ending is kind of dumb. So if you have to compare the two, that's why I do give Phantom Menace just a step above. And I think it's a 6 out of 10. There is just, it's kind of boring. Stuff with Jar Jar Binks sucks at the beginning. Jar Jar Binks sucks, bro. Every time I rewatch this movie, bro, I hate Jar Jar Binks more. Such a dumb character. They should have just had CP3 in it because they need like a funny, extra character. All right, we'll get into my hotter take. It's kind of steaming up in here, guys. In 7th place, I have Solo. This is a 7 out of 10 as well. But I think this movie is a good movie with just a bunch of bad moments versus the one before Phantom Menace is like a bad movie with a really, really one good moment. This movie's so cheesy but so overhated. I think, Woody Harrelson's incredible, of course, and I love the guy who plays Han. I think he's really charismatic. I think maybe if you do this as a show, it does a little bit better and you just do a season of Han Solo adventures and you kind of stretch this out a little bit. It might have been successful and you might have been able to do another season. Emilia Clarke in this movie, hubba bubba bubba. But man, all the stuff they did, they did the Kessel runs and all that. Han Solo's story is pretty fun. Him being an Imperial trooper back in the day is kind of a cool little story. I think this movie clearly has some problems like Han. With who? I'm by myself. Han Solo. That's really bad. There's just stuff like that, like how he calls him Chewie. Like, there's just stuff like that. Oh, Chewbacca. I'm not saying that every time. It's kind of like the Fantastic. What'd you just say? It gives a lot of those vibes, for sure. Which, did it come out around that same time? No, it was 3 years after that. That's crazy. All right, we're going into 6th place at a 7 out of 10. I got Rogue One. I got overrated as hell out of 10. It's fun, but this movie drags so hard. I think the blind character is pretty cool. I think Andor's really good. The girl, I'm not kind of about in on. The robot is one of my favorites. Her being like, yeah, he's in love with me, but no, oh my gosh, that's in Solo. Wow, I can't even think about this robot. This robot's funny. Sorry, I got the robots confused. I'm just going to leave that in. Who cares? I'll edit that out. But yeah, this movie's just kind of boring until you get Vader showing up at the end. It's just kind of mid. Oh yeah, I don't know how Andor lived, by the way, because the whole planet exploded. I haven't seen Andor. Am I excited to watch Andor? I don't know. I hate most Star Wars shows, and after rewatching most of Star Wars, I think a lot of it's kind of pretty bad writing. But let's go ahead and get into 5th place at another 7 out of 10, and this kind of could be pretty close to an 8. A 7 might be too high because this movie does have a lot of problems, but it's so fun. And I remember in 2015 going to the movie theaters and watching this, The Force Awakens. This movie is really, really fun. I think Rave's a really likable character. I think BB-8 is probably the best droid. I think he's way more entertaining than R2-D2 in the prequels. I hate that she beats Kylo at the end. I think I probably would have had it as an A, but the fact that she beat Kylo with no training, that lost me a point. No way should she ever be able to beat him. She should have, almost... Luke barely got away from Vader and got his hand chopped off in the 2nd movie, and then this girl does it, and I think that's dumb. I think, the biggest spoiler alert ever that people are getting, Han Solo's death. I think, Harrison Ford probably didn't care for just coming up a check and getting killed. You know, FN 29287 or whatever his name is, Finn. He's awesome. They do have him freaking holding the lightsaber in the poster, dude. And they don't have Rey. They have Rey holding her stick. A lot of people think, they blackballed a black Jedi. You know, I think Finn turning into a Jedi, or Finn maybe being the one, might have been the choice. But I think Finn being, the Han Solo kind of character, the general that he turns into, and the duo he has with Poe, I think is good enough. And I think Rey is a good enough protagonist to where I don't wish it enough, but they definitely boo-balled him a little bit. In fourth place at another 7 out of 10, and this used to be my favorite old school one. I used to think this was the best of the original trilogy, The Last Jedi. It's just not the best. The Ewoks are so stupid. Luke's plan in the beginning is even stupider. Luke has no plan and just kind of shows up and wings it, which I guess is Luke's character, but it's just so dumb, and then that first half of the movie is all dumb. And this is definitely the worst dialogue out of the original 3. There's constant, really, really bad lines. Luke becoming a full Jedi Knight, though, is so fun to see. And I'm in the minority, probably, but I think Vader's a way better villain than Palpatine. And so I think this movie being a step down because Vader is not the villain in this. Palpatine's the villain, and he definitely takes a step down versus Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope, where Vader is clearly the villain. And I think Vader clearly is one of the best villains of all time. The Ewoks just being able to take down all these stuff with their wooden bow and arrows is so stupid. It's just so dumb, and it takes you out of it. And then the middle part where they're doing the racing, and then the Jedis are catching up to him. You have Luke jumping back and forth in the place. It loses you a little bit in the middle there. All right, in third place, creme de la creme, potential maybe favorite. Every time I think about it, I have it as an 8 out of 10. Potentially could be a 9. Revenge of the Sith. It used to be my favorite. It's not the best, guys. I'm sorry. It is not the best. The dialogue there's some really bad dialogue moments. And I think what really held me down is Anakin's turn is way too fast, and it's kind of unearned. He, out of nowhere, just, goes from snitching on Palpatine and kind of questioning the Jedi Order to murdering kids in the Jedi Order. And it's just a full 180 for a character that we've been through with 2 minutes. Like, it's in less than 20 minutes he's snitching on Palpatine to murdering kids. I think the movie's so good, most far so good, but I mean, easily the best is, "You were my brother, Anakin. You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them." And then he's like, and you could just see the face, and he leaves him, and he's like, "I hate you." All that's really, really good. But then, no, why is that in there? There's just a lot of that in there. And man, Alex from Escape Podcast, dude, kind of got me on the Yoda shouldn't be using a lightsaber. Yoda doing all this flipping against Count Dooku is kind of dumb. Or he didn't do it. It was against Palpatine. It was Count Dooku in the other movies. Both times I saw that, it is kind of dumb. I would just rather see Yoda. He can't walk, but he can flip around. It does not make sense, and it really does bug me. So I don't even think, they're using the lightsaber argument because he should be so powerful. I think that's cool, and I think it makes sense. But it's so dumb that he can run and flip around, but, not move around properly, and, needs a crane and shit. A crane, what's that? Whatever it's called. In second place, and I'm shocked to say it, I got Empire Strikes Back, guys. This one's crazy, and I think this movie's really, really good. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 like some people have it. I mean, it's a classic, no, I am your father. Oh, it's so good, and his reaction's so good. Leia and Han really carry this movie. This one I saw back in 2024, so I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit hard to remember the exact plot details. I think the stuff at the beginning kind of is what gets me not at the 10 on them on the white planet. The arm chop off or whatever looks kind of stupid. But once we get into the plot, it is so good. And once they get into the mission to take down Darth Vader, it's just so fun. But, man, the best Star Wars movie, they've just gone downhill since 77. They can't make them like they used to. I got The Last Star Wars. This is probably my third watch ever. Like I said, I'm not a huge Star Wars person. I've seen each of these definitely 2 times. Maybe I've only seen Rogue One once. I'm not too sure. I've fully, I didn't remember a lot about it. But this is an all-time classic heater. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me. Maybe it's because it's not nostalgic, but there is just some stuff like that they weren't going to make the greatest movie of all time. They were just going to make a banger. And so over time, as I appreciate it more, maybe this will turn into a 5-star. But it is a really good 9-star. And I think it does such good lore building. I think Anakin Luke looking off into the sunset and, taking his last look at the Tatooine moons is so good. I think Leia in this, I think Han Solo is the best in this. And them just taking down the Death Star and then Luke getting the winning shot, I think all that was just so much fun. And I just think Obi-Wan Kenobi was a lot of fun. Man, if only the freaking lightsaber battle was better between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. That was pretty garbaggio. So it is kind of funny. I think Revenge of the Sith is my favorite. And I think maybe eventually I could put Revenge of the Sith at a 9 if I get over some stuff. Maybe if I watch Clone Wars and then watch Revenge of the Sith again, it will go up a little bit. But I think A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are like clearly better made movies. But I just think the end of the Revenge of the Sith, because you care so much about Obi-Wan and Anakin, I think that dialogue, and I think it's just so memed and all-time classic. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolute. I will do what I must. You will try. And then they just fight. Banger. Comment down below what y'all think about my Star Wars list. I really did enjoy rewatching all the Star Wars films slowly but surely. Before bed, cranking out a Star Wars movie is a lot of fun. I'm really, really close to my Pixar ranking, so if y'all want to see that, let me know. We're working on a Tarantino ranking. Of course, Christopher Nolan's always down. DCU's always down. Our Batman's always down. Fast and the Furious I already have done. I don't even have to do anything else. If y'all want to see that, Spider-Man, maybe do that right before Brand New Day. So we shall see, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on the channel. We have a lot of videos coming out. Thank you guys for all the love y'all been showing. We're grinding really hard this year. And, comment, like, subscribe, do what you can to support, and thank you.